And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode number 8 of Shooting the Shit with Jim. I am here with my very special guest, Mike, from Mike's DVD and Blu-ray collection. Mike, how are you today, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me on here.
No, thank you so much for being here, especially after, your recent medical experiences. I wasn't sure how you were feeling today, so I'm really glad that you're doing well and that you're here.
Yeah, hey, I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, I had a surgery on my elbow again. It was like a revision on a elbow implant, so just having a lot of issues with it. First got it done 10 years ago, and I had issues ever since with it instead of not having issues. So yeah, it is what it is. But I'm doing okay. Yeah, don't have to take so many pain. Pain is very tolerable now, and I'm doing good. So.
That's good. Yeah, that was the other thing. I didn't know if you were going to be like over medicated and just going, I like movies.
Yeah, everything's all messed up. The camera's all messed up. Everything.
So before we get into it, let's just say hello to people in the chat, see where we're at. And we've got Words and Pictures Evening from London, 7 p.m. and special guest Mike. Good to be here. I don't have a great deal, but enjoy the shows, Jim. Thank you for these. No, thank you so much for being here. I've noticed you've been on these shows the last couple of weeks, and it's appreciated. So thank you very much. And then we've got our mutual friend Carlos, Eastwood for Life fan, coming from the UK. Hello, Carlos. How are you doing this evening, buddy? Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, Carlos.
We've got our other mutual friend Corey from Wilkie's Movies and Music. How you doing today, Corey? I hope everything's good for you, buddy.
Hey, Corey.
We've got Sydney Eubanks is here. Hello, Sydney. How are you? Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, Sydney.
And we've got Greg Brewer, of course, one of my stalwarts. Hello, Greg. Thank you so much for being here as well. I really appreciate it.
Hey there, Greg.
Okay, so as I usually do on these shows when I first start. Oh, sorry. Saw somebody else just popped in that I definitely got to say hello to. And Jeff, all the way from the Netherlands, is here. Hello, Jeff. Thank you so much for being here as well.
Hey, Jeff. Thanks for coming, man.
Like I always do at the beginning of these shows, I always ask my guest, how did you get started on YouTube, Mike?
Well, started when the pandemic started, actually. I was actually getting ready to start a channel and do stuff, and then all of a sudden, boom. I think I started thinking about it in the end of 2019. It's like, because I've had a channel ever since, I don't know, 2011, but I never posted stuff. I just watched stuff. And started thinking about, because I like so many Westerns and like older movies and different genres, I thought, hey, I could just show off some of my collection that's been growing and growing. And then all of a sudden, it's like I'm getting ready to do it. I'm getting, testing stuff, like I'm going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Then all of a sudden, boom, the pandemic happens. And it's like, oh man, but I had just started, I think, and it happened. But a lot of people started during the pandemic with channels, I've noticed, and some of them are still here, some of them are gone. Not like they died, but they just
right,
went on with stuff. But anyways, I just started doing that and started slowly, and doing stuff. But then I kind of got into some chats like this. I started. I don't remember whose chat it was, but I know what it was. It was like the spaghetti western. God, what is it? Whatever. He talks about spaghetti westerns and stuff. Help me out, Eastwood or Carlos, because that's where I met Carlos and Jeff, and they started supporting me, saying, "Hey, check Mike out," and we started talking and stuff and hitting it off. And before I knew it, I was friends with Dan from Dan's media cave at the time, but now he's talking movies, talking westerns, talking movies. And before I knew it, Jeff and Carlos and Dan, and then I met a guy named Leslie. And before I knew it, I was building this little group, and then eventually just started getting people, talking to people, and started building slowly, as it goes. And and I like to just support people's channels, get on there and just say support them and stuff, and do as much as I can. And I try to spotlight some channels too. Just to get some more awareness out there, because with the algorithm sometimes it's crazy, and you may not see this, and somebody else may see that. But yeah, I started doing the channel. You know, I started wanting to show off some westerns, I'm like into older, like 1930s movies, like gangster movies, and like, you know, comedy. You know, like the Marx Brothers, and Laurel and Hardy, and all, you know, all those good guys and stuff like that. So, you know, it went from there. Started making some videos and stuff, and I think I've gradually gotten a little bit better. I don't know with it, but my whole thing is I just turn the camera on and just talk.
Yeah.
And that's why I have brain farts a lot and stuff. But I want to try to keep it accurate to where like right now, me and you are talking, and I may forget something, but that happens in a real conversation. You know.
Right.
So that's what I do. I just turn it on, and somebody can discover it. And I'll recommend some videos and stuff like that. So I've realized that there's a lot of Western movie fans out there, and that we just want to talk about Westerns. And then I'm into film noir movies too, which is kind of, you know, branched off from the 1930s,
Mm-hmm.
you know, crime, gangster movies and everything. And I got into them a long time ago. And so I've kind of spotlighted those, and people seem to like those too, and stuff like that. So, but every once in a while, I'll throw people a curveball and put something on there that they probably have never heard of. They probably won't be interested in it, but it's what I'm interested in.
Right.
And usually somebody might come back to the video and be like, "Hey, I'm getting into this director,
Mm-hmm.
and you're showing me some of his movies, and I'm gonna go out and look them up and maybe find them in a store or something, you know, or an actor or genre or something like that." So yeah. So, but also I'm into excuse me, like Italian crime movies.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that kind of cropped up in the 70s. That was their heyday and stuff, and started getting into those. And like Carlos and Jeff are into those too. So we've been able to do trade packages and a lot of fun stuff like that. So yeah, it's been a ball pretty much. I've had a lot of fun with the channel over I guess almost going into 5 years now. I guess 5 years in March. Well, yeah, okay, 5 years now. I've been doing it for 5 years, not 4
Wow.
years. So
time flies.
Yeah. So yeah, man, like you popped up one day, and it was like, hey, Jim's cool. He knows a lot of stuff, and he grew up in the 70s. Got to see drive-in movies. Got to see firsthand Star Wars or something like that. You know.
Yeah.
And
no, I've been saying.
Yeah,
I've been
really
saying
like
my whole life that I'm the perfect age as far as movie files go.
Yeah.
Because all those movies hit me at the right age. You know, Star Wars when I was, 10.
Yeah.
And all those great movies of 82 when I was turning 15. You know, I mean, those are the years that when you find a movie, you'll keep that movie near and dear to your heart till the day you die, regardless of what it is, you know. So
yeah, that's me. 13, 14.
Yep.
15,
that's the sweet spot. That's the sweet spot.
That's kind of like when you kind of become who you're going to be someday. You know what I mean? Like you change a little bit, good or bad. But yeah, I mean that's when I got into stuff. And oh God, see, I'm forgetting something to say. But see, I like history, just history period. But I love movie history.
Yeah.
So that's why I can go deep, like the teens and stuff that's 100 years old, and stuff like that, and watch it. But I'm into silent movies. I just love like movie history, and just I guess I'm a really movie fan, but I like a lot of underrated stuff. I like a lot of directors who were just like making movies that shook up the shook up the norms and stuff, and stuff like that. But I do like newer movies too, and I just wish, God, there would be better stories and scripts and stuff that would come out and just get people interested and want to go to the movie theater again. Besides being, a comic book movie, which nothing's wrong with. I love comic book movies. My son's a nut about all of those, and we go to the theaters and see those. But man, I would like to go and see a good something like Innovator, like what Tarantino came on the scene and kind of shook up stuff a little bit. I want to see a director do that again.
Yeah.
Get people interested in cinema and stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
But one last thing, man. I know I go on.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But I love hearing everybody's story. How they got into stuff and how they discovered movies and stuff like that. And it's so interesting. I don't know. I just love history and stuff like that. So.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned when you first started that you kind of came into cahoots with Carlos and Jeff and those guys, because really that's kind of how I got into this too. One of my very first subscribers and big supporters was Carlos, and then I found Dan and Jeff through him, with the Westerns for Life podcast and their own individual shows. But all three of those guys are just fantastic. I mean, they're very supportive, and I've actually been you've been on their show before as a guest. I know. I was going to be on there twice already, but unfortunately scheduling issues came up, so I wasn't able to get on there. But I'm really hoping to get on there someday with those guys, because all three of them are just excellent guys, very supportive.
Yeah, very knowledgeable. You get to hear their side of stuff and how they got into things in Europe, Europe, the UK, and everything.
And I just want to say hello to a couple other people here before we go any further. We've got Caveman. Hey there, everyone. Please hit the like button for my Kentucky neighbor. Thank you so much, Caveman. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks, Caveman. Yeah.
And Jeff says, Spaghetti Westerns podcast united, Mike, with Carlos and myself for sure. Yep. And my good friend Texas, how you doing today, my friend? Thank you so much for being here, Texas. I appreciate it. And Mr. Dan in Horror is also here. Dan, thank you so much. Since Dan's here right now, I'll go ahead and plug it right now because I'm a whore. On Tuesday, this coming Tuesday night, the 22nd at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, will be the next live episode of Talking Movies with Sean, Kenny, and Jim. And our very special guest will be Dan from Mr. Dan in Horror. Awesome. We're going to be doing a special episode dedicated to the career of Jack Nicholson. It's not going to be a tribute like the Val Kilmer thing was. It's more going to be like a celebration because Mr. Nicholson's birthday is next week. So we just kind of timed it around then. So we're not going to be covering his whole career. It's not going to be like it was with Kilmer. If we were covering Nicholson's whole career, it'd be a very long episode. But we're going to be talking about some of our favorite Nicholson movies, some of our favorite memories, and blah, blah, blah. So hopefully everybody can join for that. And again, that will be Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, either on Sean's channel at Movie Assault or the Talking Movies 2024 channel. And if you could show up for that, either live or on replay, it would definitely be appreciated.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Everybody check out Mr. Dan's channel. He's got
absolutely. Dan's great, and he's got great content.
Yeah, a lot of variety and stuff, which is cool.
Okay, now I do have more questions for you, but I want to catch up on some of these comments because, Carlos cannot go through one of these things without going for movie matchups. That's like his thing. He loves asking. So
they're good questions. Yeah.
Yep. So we're gonna start with a couple of those real quick. So Carlos, movie matchup: Ghostbusters versus Gremlins.
Oh gosh, I would go with that's a hard one. I don't know. I like Gremlins just because it's a little more darker. I know Ghostbusters scared the crap out of me. I think the favorite part is that librarian ghost. Yeah. When I first saw that, that got me. And the other thing, I had a movie book of the movie, had photos and story. I think I got it at book day at school, 1984, and it had a close up of her and stuff. And it was just scary. But I have to go with Gremlins because I think Gremlins is just a little more darker. I like just those scenes of just, Spike going crazy, and love Gizmo. And I'm going to go with Gremlins, just barely.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Gremlins, but not by barely. I mean, by a huge amount. I love Ghostbusters. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I never want to watch Ghostbusters again. I've seen it so many times, I could recite it backwards. Gremlins, I could also recite backwards, but I'll watch that one again. I love Gremlins. So
I've made it a Christmas movie now.
Yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah. And again, I've said it before, I'll say it again. One of my favorite memories ever of working in that theater in the 80s was when we had Gremlins, because every time there'd be at least one traumatized kid coming out in the lobby screaming his eyeballs out about why Santa Claus wasn't real. And I always thought to myself, man, this movie's going to traumatize an entire generation. You know?
Yeah. It also had that scene in it where it takes place at a movie theater.
Oh, yeah.
I think Joe Dante was trying to make a little, like, I think, don't they rip the scrin or something?
Yeah, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah, so I wonder how that would look. I didn't see it in the theater, so I don't know.
It was great. Like I said, I love Gremlins.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go, because we'll be talking about Gremlins all day. This one's real easy for me. Over the Top versus The Karate Kid.
Karate Kid for sure. I mean, I'm getting to be a bigger fan of Over the Top as I've gotten older and stuff, because I don't know, it's a cheese fest, but man, I don't know, it's satisfying somehow. It's just one of my favorite Stallone movies. Plus, he's a truck driver, I think, in that. And
yeah,
when I was a kid, I was obsessed with being a semi truck driver when I grew up. I just love big rigs and stuff. So yeah, just barely, but yeah, Karate Kid, yeah.
I'll go with the Karate Kid. I don't like Over the Top. I've never liked Over the Top.
Yeah, I mean, it has its moments of crap, but it's good though.
Sorry, Jeff, because I know Jeff's a big fan of them Over the Top.
Yeah, I think me and Jeff are the only people that like it.
Now this one's more difficult for me. Django Unchained versus The Hateful Eight.
That's a hard one. I got to see The Hateful Eight in the theater when it was doing that road show thing. Actually drove all the way to Nashville, Tennessee, which is about 2.5 hours from me, and to see it, the roadshow version. And man, it was so cool. It was so worth it. But God, man, I just love Django Unchained on repeat viewings. It's just has so much. It has so much Tarantino in it, and God, what's his name? It's so good.
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx. Yeah, he's so good. Just some good stuff in there. But man, Hateful Eight is so good too, because I love westerns, and I know what he's doing there. He's throwing stuff out there like, this is from The Great Silence, and this is, and stuff like that. So, but man, I have to go with Django Unchained, I guess.
Yeah,
between those two, yeah.
Yeah, me too. I love them both, and they are kind of apples and oranges. I mean, even though they're both set, in the Old West, they're westerns, but one's more action than the other. But Django, just on a visceral level, man, that movie's just so much fun. And Christoph Waltz is so good in that movie. I mean, everybody's stellar in that movie. DiCaprio is phenomenal in that movie, So, and Hateful Eight is more dialogue driven. I think Hateful Eight's got better dialogue, overall. And maybe some better characterization, because everybody brings it in Hateful Eight. Walton Goggins to me is the MVP of that movie. He's friggin' phenomenal in that movie.
Yeah, it's definitely a movie that you got to start watching, and if you got a short attention span, you might not like it, but it's one of those slow burns. It kind of burns, but
I agree with you. I'll go with Django.
Yeah.
Okay, now Jeff's got to get in the fun here. He says Ghostbusters Over the Top and Hateful Eight for me.
Oh, okay.
But Django versus Hateful is, that is the hardest one out of the three, in my opinion, as well.
Yeah.
Sydney, Jim, name some actors or actresses that have impressed you so far. Again, we could be here all day for that. I like character actors. I've always been drawn to character actors. So when I think of my favorite actors, I mean, I don't think they're the best actors. I think they're my favorite, going through the years. I go with people like Bill Paxton, Lance Henriksen, Fred Ward. And then for actresses, Tilda Swinton, she's phenomenal. Old school actors and actresses, Clint Eastwood, Steve McQueen, Lee Marvin, Charles Bronson, Katharine Hepburn, Bette Davis. I mean, they're all great. How about you?
Yeah, I'm definitely a character actor. That's what's really so cool about watching some old movies, because back then a lot of these actors came from Broadway and stuff back then, and they were good, but they were in the background, you know. And there's some great character actors, like even in film noir. There's these people that pop up, like say in film noir, Lee Van Cleef, you know, started his, and he was in a ton of good film noirs, just in the background, just being this, you know, thug or something. But he had lines. But there's some great, you know, character actors, especially starting in the 40s and stuff. But people like, gosh, man, I don't know, I could name a ton, but I don't know. I'm picturing their faces, but not their names right now. But yeah, that would be a good video for me to do. Just kind of, you know, salute some character actors that are really good. But like you were talking about, you know, Jack Nicholson and stuff. He's one of my favorite actors.
Yeah, mine as well.
And so that should be a good show on that. But I don't know. Right off the top of my head, I can't think of any good ones.
Dan says, I've watched many noir and westerns because of Mike. Yeah, me too, Dan. And I'm going to be picking his brain a little bit later about both of those types of movies. Jeff says, Eurocrime movies are awesome. Yeah, yep. And here we go. Eurocrime, cool. Here you go, Mike. Do you have a favorite Henry Silva film?
Oh, God, Lord mighty. That's a hard one. I may have to cheat and go online real quick. I'm trying to think up top of my head. Man, he was in so many good movies. Shit. And he's one of my favorite character actors because a lot of times he's in the background. But then he's had his, you know, his starring roles and stuff. But as far as Eurocrime, a good one to check out if no one's ever seen it that he's in is what's it called? Like the Italian Connection, which I think is from like 72. He's really good in that. The Boss, yeah, that's a good one. The Boss is a good one, but man, he's really good in a Western called God, it's with Randolph Scott.
There you go. Jeff says Italian Connection and The Boss.
Yeah. Gosh, what's that movie? Crap, Randolph Scott, 1950. I think of the year 1957. What's it called? I can't think of it. Shit. But he's really good in that. And he's in the background. He's a character actor, but he's got a lot of definitive lines in it. I mean, he really moves the movie along, and he's not even really a star, which he should have been more of a star in that movie. But crap, I'll think of it and tell you guys. But
he played a lot of heavies. I know that.
Yeah, I mean, just in those movies, he was really good. You know, like Chain Heat. Crap.
Code of Silence.
Code of Silence. Yeah.
The first thing, I mean, Henry Silva's been in a million movies, but when I saw that question, the first thing that popped into my head was Code of Silence. Just because I watched that movie so much and he's so good at it, you know.
Yeah, he was even in Dick Tracy back in 1990, which you probably wouldn't even recognize him with all the, you know, makeup.
Well, yeah, they all had the makeup. Yeah. Okay, let's see here real quickly before I go into more of my questions for you. Carlos says, YouTube is definitely changing. Channels don't talk movies as much. It's all about collecting anything and everything. I love movie fans talk movies. Us guys got to bring it back. Yeah, I agree with you, Carlos. I like, you know, I like watching Mike when he talks about these movies. It's not just, hey, look at this shiny new edition of what I have, you know. I mean, I've been doing my entire collection for the last 2 weeks, and yesterday was the first time that there was a duplicate because I don't buy 25 editions of a movie. To me, it's about the movie, you know, and I like talking about the movie, not, hey, look at this. It's got a special slipcover that if you turn it this way, it's this way. This, I mean, if the movie I get comes with that shit, that's a bonus to me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Like I'm guilty of double dipping only if it's one of my favorite movies or something. Like I'll say something like the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I have a bunch of different editions of it. The other day I was in a Goodwill store just checking out, see if there was anything in there, and they had a VHS edition of Good, Bad, and the Ugly. You know, it's a double tape, and I put it back because it's like that's just going to be more space taken up on my shelf, and stuff.
Right?
and everything. It's like I got the laser disc. I don't need the VHS, but I almost did it. But see,
Yeah.
but I'm
But
going through. I'm going to go through my movies. I'm just going to shed a bunch of stuff. Like if I do have duplicates somehow, I'm going to go through my movies soon and do that because.
See, but that's the exception, not the rule, Mike. I mean, that's a movie that you truly love. You don't do that with every movie that comes out. You know, you don't buy every movie that comes out. You know, hey, here's a stack of movies that came out this week. I bought them all, but I haven't seen any of them.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll put that with the stack of the shit from last week that I bought that I've never seen. That I mean, there's a difference between being a collector and a completionist.
Yeah.
Or even a movie lover and a collector. Okay. I consider myself a movie lover who happens to collect Blu-rays.
Well, as far as being like a completionist in a way, it's say I like a certain director, so I'm gonna go out and try to get all his movies.
Yeah.
Say he only made 20 movies, so it's like, okay, I need 2 more. I'm gonna check it out, and I'll have the whole collection. But that's just few.
No, I've done that.
Yeah,
I've done that. I mean, Tony Scott.
Yeah.
I did a Tony Scott video almost a year ago, and at the time when I was getting ready to film that, I was like 5 movies short. And I did. I went out and I got them all just because I wanted to have his entire filmography for that video.
Yeah,
you know,
wanted to see them all. But there are those channels, Jim, that they get free movies.
Yeah.
And they don't watch them and stuff. I'm not calling out nobody, and I'm not hating on anybody. That's cool. If you can get all those, I would love to get every Arrow edition that comes out. But
if they want to start sending me free shit, by all means, man, I'll take it.
Yeah, I can't guarantee I'm going to watch all of them because
right.
I'm picky. I'm picky about certain things, and I'll buy certain movies I want to buy and stuff. But yeah, they are those guys, and probably some gals out there, some women that have channels and they get free stuff all the time.
Right.
And they like, here, look at this. Hey, look at this. I got it as soon as it came out. I have a preview copy of it. It's just like I'm not trying to keep up with that stuff. That's crazy.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see here. Caveman says, with kids' attention spans being as short as they are, I think we may be the last generation of our teen years being heavily influenced by film. Yeah, definitely. In a way that might be true. I mean, that's what'll get me. Okay, these kids will say, I don't want to watch a 2-hour movie, but they'll binge watch an entire season of something in one setting on YouTube, for instance, or on Netflix or whatever, and it's like, okay, you just watch that for 5 hours straight. How come you can't watch a 2-hour movie?
Yeah, no, it's weird, and just not wanting to watch it, on the big screen, or even if you're at home and you got like say a 75-inch TV, not bad, but man, I love sitting down and watching something on the big screen at home, and turning up my surround sound, and I like that. But there's a lot of people don't. My boys, they don't want to do that. They want to look on their phones or watch it on their computer screen.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Sarah is here. Hello, Sarah. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey there, Sarah.
And Stacy is here for Makers of Movies. Hello, Stacy. Thank you for being here. She says, in honor of Carlos. See, Carlos, you started a trend, buddy. Showdown. Charles Bronson versus Stallone. Ooh. That's good. Because they're totally different.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Different techniques and stuff. Well, I'll take this one, man. I'm going to go with Charles Bronson only because he's pretty good with a gun. I mean, he is a pretty muscular guy back in the 70s. I mean, for an older guy in the 70s, he was pretty ripped and stuff. So, but I think Stallone would take him possibly if it was even.
Well, it's not. They're not fighting. It's basically which one do you prefer?
Oh,
Bronson or Stallone?
Oh, okay. Well, shit. I'm gonna go with Bronson for sure. Yeah, on that one.
Yeah. See, I think Stallone is a better actor, but Bronson's nearer and dearer to my heart.
Yeah.
So I'll go with Bronson as well.
Yeah, and then Runaway Train. I mean, the Great Train Robbery is really good. It's Sean Connery and
Donald Sutherland.
Yeah, Donald Sutherland. But man, Runaway Train is so underrated. It's so
it's
so good. Man.
Runaway Train is like
one of the best canon movies ever.
The best canon movie as far as quality goes. as far as I'm concerned. It's it's not my favorite Cannon film, but it's the best one in my opinion.
Best quality and overall.
Let's see here. Jeff says Nicholson is awesome, brilliant actor for sure. One of my personal favorites, absolutely. And again, he's another one of those guys. I mean, I'm not going to go into it too much because I'm going to be talking about it on Tuesday night. But he's another one of those actors that had a profound effect on me the first time I saw him.
Oh yeah.
And that was Cuckoo's Nest, and I saw that probably in 1977, 78, somewhere around there. So I was maybe 10 or 11 years old because it had already been out. You know, it won all the Oscars and everything, but I was 8 years old when that movie came out, so obviously I didn't see it theatrically, you know. But I do recall seeing that on TV with my parents, and it blew me away. And from that moment on, Nicholson and Brad Dourif have always been like baked into my brain because both of them just are so, you know, Louise Fletcher too. I mean, you know, everybody in that movie's great. But,
it's totally,
but that's what made me a Nicholson fan originally was that first time I saw Cuckoo's Nest. It just destroyed me at the end. I mean, destroyed me. It's so good.
Yeah. I can't say the first one I've seen. I grew up in the 80s, a lot of HBO and stuff. But, man, once I saw him in the great detail.
The Last Detail?
The Last Detail. The Last Detail. Oh, man, it's so good. And then, like, Chinatown and just... Oh man, I mean, just great. I mean, great stuff. I mean, as good as it gets. I mean, great performance in that.
Yeah.
You know, and
he's got 3 Oscars. You know, there's not many actors that have 3. He's got 3, and he was nominated like another 5 or 6 times. You know, I mean, he was truly, because he's retired now, but he was truly one of the greatest actors of his generation, without a doubt. I mean,
without a doubt. Yeah.
You know, but thank you so much, Jeff. I appreciate that. And Dan says, thanks, Jim. Looking forward to it. Yeah, Tuesday night's going to be great. I watched some of his early Westerns to talk about. Cool, because we're going to have holes in that. And to be honest, I don't think I've seen any of his early Westerns. I know I've seen the Missouri Breaks, but that's not an early one. That came out in the 70s.
Yeah, that came out in 76, I believe.
Yeah.
But
you know, I mean, I think the earliest movie, you know, as far as like oldest movie that I've seen with Nicholson in it was probably Little Shop of Horrors, where he does the Bill Murray part, the masochist who likes pain.
Yeah. Oh gosh, man, he's been in so many good movies. Oh, what's that movie? He worked with a director. See, this happens to me all the time. I think I'm gonna have Alzheimer's or something when I get older. I can't remember correctly. But no, he did some really good ones. I know, you know, he said Missouri Breaks with Brando, which was, I think didn't he direct that too? I think that was 76. Oh man,
he might have directed that one. I don't know.
He directed a couple movies, I believe.
I know he directed Going South because I saw that one with him.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Him and Belushi and Mary Steenburgen.
Yeah, I think Arthur Penn directed that other one. I get it mixed up. Crap, what's that movie? It's on the tip of my tongue, man. I'll come back to it. Hey, that other Western I was thinking about earlier with Henry Silva, The Tall T.
The Tall T?
The Tall T with Randolph Scott. And he plays a character that might be offensive nowadays, and I won't say it out loud, but that was his name. You can look it up. But man, that movie's worth it. I mean, once they put the kid down, they kill a kid and put him down in the well, it's on. You're stuck to this movie the whole time. So I won't give anything away. Just watch it.
Cool. All right. I got a lot more questions here, or a lot more comments to get to, but I want to get to some of my questions because we're like 35 minutes in. I've asked one question so far.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be.
No. We're getting a lot of good ones from the. We got 18 people watching live right now, and that's fantastic. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here.
Yeah.
This is great. I really appreciate it. Okay, let's get back to some of my stuff here. Do you remember what your earliest theatrical film experience was? Regardless of if it was a Disney film or whatever.
Yeah. Earliest one, I'll remember this. It was 1980. and I'm glad I got to see this. But my parents were going to the movies. They tried to take me and my sister to grandma's to stay. I threw a fit. It's like, and I didn't throw fits as a kid. I was a pretty decent kid, I guess. But man, I threw a fit. It's like, I want to go to the movies. I want to go to the movies. So they took me with, and they were going to go see Stir Crazy with Richard Pryor, Gene Wilder. And oh man, I'm so glad I did that because I got to go see that. And I remember bits and pieces of it. I was about 4, maybe 5 at the time, but I do remember bits of it. But yeah, that was my first experience going to the movies. And
nice.
Yeah, I think one that stands out, like we're gonna go to the movies, was I think Return of the Jedi, something like that. Me and my sister and dad went to go see that. So.
Yeah, because let's see, Jedi would have been 83, so yeah, you would have been the age at that point to be like, let's go.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that was a target audience then. So.
Yeah, you probably love those Ewoks.
Oh, yeah, oh, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, now we were talking earlier about how you're attracted to older movies. Okay, and film noir definitely fits into that. Okay, because of course there still are examples of film noir today. They'll do modern ones every once in a while, but not like it was back in the heyday. Yeah. But for certain people that aren't really familiar with that genre, as opposed to, you know, what makes that genre special, I guess you would say, you know, what are some of the hallmarks of film noir that drew you to that? And do you have any favorite movies from that genre?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of them, but I think what got me really into it was like the cinematography, the black and white. I mean, a film noir needs to be black and white just because it needs the shadows, it needs the darkness. Someone creeps out of the dark and shoots you. You know, it needs that. Wouldn't look good in color, maybe, but probably the look. Actors like Humphrey Bogart, like say the Maltese Falcon, which is kind of considered an early film noir, and just that detective guy. I mean, I used to think of them, I guess, when I was younger, as just detective movies, but they were really like film noirs. So yeah, like definitely Humphrey Bogart, and seeing him in a few things. My dad was a big fan of Humphrey Bogart. But one movie that you've got to see that's a film noir classic. It's called Detour.
Detour?
Detour. 1945. You have to get the Criterion collection of it because that is the very best edition. It's in the public domain, so you can. There's a lot of crappy editions out there. So, but if you get that Criterion edition, you will love it. It's not the best movie ever made by any means, but the actors, the script, that way it moves on, you're going to laugh. You're going to love it. It's a good movie to start with.
Awesome.
So yeah, and something like say the Big Combo. The Big Combo is a good one. The Big Heat is another good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a real good one.
So yeah, there's some good ones. So
yeah, I always liked Richard Widmark in those movies.
Yeah. There was that one where he pushes the old lady down the stairs in a wheelchair or something. That was God, what was that?
Shit.
I can't think of it. So
yeah, me neither.
I have too much. I have too much knowledge in my head.
They even run that scene in Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. You know, they do like the parody of it.
Yeah.
And, oh shit.
But he did a lot of good movies too, film noir movies too, where he was like the star and stuff. There's another one. I got to mention this one. What's it called? Roadhouse. Now, not to get confused with the Swayze one.
Roadhouse.
Yeah, Roadhouse. I think it's 1948, and I want to say Richard Widmark's in that, but it's a good one. It's a good one you got to check out. Roadhouse.
Nice. Yeah, I'm writing down a lot of these. You know, the ones that I haven't seen. Tall T and Detour for sure. So. See, that's why I love your channel, Mike, because you talk about movies I've never heard of, and I consider myself a cinephile, you know. But when it comes to like older movies, you're the guy that I go to. You know, if it's an older Western, I'll go to you or Carlos or Jeff. You know, those guys as well. But when it comes to like noir and older silent type movies, you know, anything from the 20s, 30s, 40s, you're the guy that I go to, without a
Yeah.
doubt.
Well, yeah, because if I mention something like, say, like the early Warner Brothers, like the 1930s, like they did a series of like musicals. Now, I'm not a musical person at all, but those are really good
Yeah.
music, just catchy songs and stuff like that. But I'm very picky too, and I don't even think I've even scratched the surface of like a lot of good stuff. But yeah, I've been finding some stuff like an archaeologist, I guess, and find some good old stuff, and it turns out to be really good. And usually takes me on a rabbit hole. I'll go down and I'll find this, and then I'll find that. So,
Hey, Barry. My buddy Barry's in the chat. I had to say
hey,
hello to Barry.
hey there, Barry.
He got there 20 minutes ago, and I'm just now acknowledging him. Hey, man, it's good to see you, buddy. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, here's a great Silva one that I forgot about that Dan brought up. Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai with Forrest Whitaker. Yeah, he's great in that movie.
Yeah,
That
was like one of his. I was like, it seemed like that was one of his last roles, I think, or it was. He was getting older at that point, I think, maybe.
Yeah,
I want to think, but yeah, that's definitely an underrated movie. Good movie.
Let's see here. Barry says, "I throw the discs away and keep the slip covers." Yeah, right.
That's what it's all about, man. It's all about that
right.
slip cover.
Movie fan first and collector second. Absolutely, Jeff. Absolutely. Be a movie fan, then collect, not collect anything and fake it as a movie fan. Yep, I agree.
Mm-hmm. I can usually spot those guys sometimes. I'll discover their channel, and it's like.
Now look at it. Greg says, I used to throw away slipcovers before they were considered a collector's item. Yeah, actually, I did too. Back in the day.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really get into the whole slipcover thing until I started getting Scream Factory. But even then, half of my collector's editions have slips and the other half don't. And I'm not going to go out and buy the slips to make them all, screw that. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. Well, see, that's what they do now. Like, okay, I'll go for a slipcover if it's got the alternate artwork on the case. Sometimes you can flip your artwork around. That way, when you pull the slip off, you got,
Yeah, and Scream Factory usually does that, and Kino does that sometimes. It depends on what the movie is, but Shout Factory, I will give them credit for that. When they do a collector's edition slip, it's always got an alternate artwork. They got the theatrical poster somewhere in there,
Yeah, that happens to me a lot when I order from Amazon. I get a Kino movie, and when it comes, I'm like, is it going to have the slip? If it's we don't have the slip. Shit.
Yeah.
I still keep the movie, though, but.
And Barry says, I'm not a collector at all. I just buy films to watch. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, if I got it on my shelf, there's a reason why it's on my shelf. Now I have bought movies that I've been like, oh my God, why did I buy this piece of shit after the fact? Because a good example. Okay. I don't even know if you've even heard of this piece of shit, but I know Dan has. It's called Gorp, GORP, with Dennis Quaid and Fran Drescher, and it's like a Meatballs for adults, okay, summer camp type movie.
Oh wow.
And I watched it a lot when I was a kid on cable, okay, like when I was 13, 14 years old. Thought it was the funniest movie ever. And then I found it on Kino out of print, spent $30 for this piece of shit, got it and watched it once and almost threw it away. It is like horrible.
Yeah.
But once I buy something, I don't throw it out. It's on my shelf now, so I just don't watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to kind of straighten up my collection, kind of shed some of the ones that, I'm not going to watch this on disc. It's on stream. It streams constantly. So it's like, and there's nothing special about it. So, I want to do that, get rid of some stuff.
When YouTubers get tons of free movies, sometimes you question if they're giving it an honest review. Yeah, exactly. And Dan is here as well. Hello, Dan. Thank you so much for being here, my friend. I really appreciate it. So now we've got all three of the Talking Movies men, or the Westerns for Life guys in the chat. So thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you guys are really important in the direction my channel, because I met you guys and started talking to you guys, which gave me more confidence to talk about what I really like. So it kind of steered my ship in the right direction, you know, because I was like, hey, there's other people like me that enjoy this and they understand what I'm talking about and stuff, you know. So yeah, big influence, guys. Thanks.
And Ramon is here, the Dutch film buff. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. If I'm skipping over anybody's comments, I apologize. I will try to go back to them real quick. I am going to get to this one, though, because I know Carlos isn't going to be able to be here much longer. And he says, yeah, I've got one last movie face-off from me. First Blood versus Southern Comfort. Oh, man.
Oh, gosh, that's a hard one.
That's a real hard one for me.
They almost came out the same year, too, I think. No, wait a minute. Southern Comfort was already out. Yeah, 81.
Yeah, 81 and 82.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I know what my answer is.
God, these are hard, man.
Yeah, I know what my answer is, but I'll let you go first.
Oh, you gonna let me go?
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna have to go with First Blood, just because he's a one-man killing machine, as opposed to Southern Comfort, where you got a couple guys, you know, end up at the end and stuff. But man, I love Southern Comfort. It's so underrated. But I have to pick First Blood, and then The Great Escape versus Bridge. Oh, damn, it's a hard one. I'll have to go with The Great Escape for sure. Just the actors and like we said, the supporting actors, everything. And then the hardest one of all, High Noon or Rio Bravo. I have to say Rio Bravo, because that is one of my absolute favorite westerns of all time.
Yeah.
But High Noon is so damn good, though.
Yeah.
I just can't.
All six of these movies are great.
Damn it, Carlos.
Said all six of these movies are fantastic.
Yeah, they're all great.
I got to go with Southern Comfort over First Blood, as much as that pains me to say, because I love First Blood. It's my favorite Rambo film, without a doubt. Rest in peace, Ted Kochev, who just passed away.
Yeah.
But Southern Comfort, outside of The Warriors, it's my favorite Walter Hill movie. And Fred Ward and Powers Booth and Peter Coyote and Carradine, and T.K. Carter. I mean, everybody in that movie brings it, you know? So, yeah, I got to go with Southern Comfort on that one. The Great Escape and The Bridge or River Kwai, flip a coin. Seriously.
Pretty much.
Today it would be The Great Escape. Tomorrow it might be River Kwai. I mean, that's how much I love both of those movies.
Yeah.
But I'll go with Great Escape. And High Noon versus Rio Bravo, to me, is the easiest of the three. But again, absolutely love both movies. But I'm with you. I got to go with Rio Bravo. It's one of my favorite John Wayne movies. It's a movie that I watched with my dad constantly on cable. Although he would always bitch about Ricky Nelson. But
he's not in it a whole lot. That's what's good. But he is decent in it. He sings
Walter Brennan is great in that movie.
Walter
I love
Brennan.
Walter Brennan.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's one of the greatest character actors. He's somebody I was trying to think of.
Yeah. Walter Brennan was he stole that movie as far as I was concerned. You know,
Totally.
I just love him. Okay, let's see here. Dan says, believe it or not, I've never seen Targets, but I really want to. Targets is a good movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That is a good movie, man. I mean, yeah, check that one out if you get a chance, Dan.
Yeah. It's kind of what we live in nowadays with, you know.
Oh, Dan's got a good one. Yeah. Dan says, either all of Cannon's movies have to go, or all of Caracol's movies have to go from existence. What do you choose?
From existence?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a harsh one, Dan.
Exist. Man.
Jeez. I don't know. Carlico was on fire, man.
Yeah.
Like the late 80s and mid 90s and stuff. They did some great movies.
Yeah. As much as I love Cannon's got to go. I
yeah.
can't imagine a world without Total Recall and Terminator 2. I can't.
Basic Instinct.
That one too.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Carlico, as much as it pains me.
Yeah, because I love Cannon. I mean, without a doubt, I love Cannon. But Caracol had some great films. I mean, First Blood, Great Escape, really torn between Rio Bravo. I knew, yeah, Carlos, he doesn't make it easy. Sydney says, if I can get the comment to come up, My favorite film noir movies are Double Indemnity, Touch of Evil, Sweet Smell of Success, and The Night of the Hunter. Night of the Hunter is great.
Great movie. Yeah.
My dad used to say that Robert Mitchum is the preacher in that movie was scarier than any of the mass killers from the slasher movies that I watched, growing up. Because he would always be like, "This shit's stupid. You want to see a scary movie? Watch Night of the Hunter."
Yeah.
The
part where he's describing like on his fist. This one says, "What was it? The story of something." What was it?
It's been years since I've seen it, but
he's got.
It's a great.
He's got evil or something tattooed on. I should know this. I should know this stuff, but I don't. I can't. Great movie.
Thank you, Sydney. Okay, I want to get back to some of my stuff here because we're coming up on the first hour.
Oh wow!
I like to play a game called Top 3, and by top 3, I don't mean the best. I just mean off the top of your head. I'll ask you, what are your top 3, whatever, and first thing that comes to your mind, boom. There's no right or wrong answers here. Okay?
Like just favorite movies or genre?
Well, you'll see when I ask.
Oh. You're gonna make it hard too.
So the first question: top 3 Western actors. Go.
Oh, okay. Well, duh. You're gonna say John Wayne, but I want to say Randolph Scott second. Randolph Scott's so damn underrated, but Randolph Scott, John Wayne, and tip of my tongue. What's the other guy? Shit. Like Joel McCrea. Again, underrated. He did a lot of good westerns. There's so many. There is a lot of good ones, but I'm gonna have to say Joel McCrea. Or no, wait a minute. I might say Audie Murphy. Audie Murphy did some really good westerns too. Randolph Scott, John Wayne, and I'm gonna go with Audie Murphy.
Nice. I thought for sure Clint would be in there somewhere, but
I know exactly Clint.
So you know what? But that's what I mean. That's what I like about you, Mike, in particular, is you don't give the standard answers. You go deeper than most people. Mm-hmm. There's probably half a dozen people in the chat that never thought that they would have heard the name Audie Murphy today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's fantastic. This is the sort of stuff that I like. Okay. Yeah. So keeping
you're
that
squeezing my brain. You're twisting and squeezing.
That's right. That's what I'm here for. That's what friends are for, buddy. So keeping that train going, your top 3 noir actors.
Oh, okay. That's pretty easy.
And that could be actors or actresses.
No, it's not easy, actually. I'm going to go with... damn it. I should know this. Alan Ladd did a lot of good ones. See, there's so many. I hate making definitive statements. I hate saying this.
These aren't definitive. This is just off the top of your head.
Okay. Well, Alan Ladd. Robert Mitchum did do a lot of good ones, but he didn't do a lot, but he did do a good handful of good noir movies. Of course, Humphrey Bogart did some ones, maybe not deep into film noir, but he did a lot of good detective stuff. Damn it. Shit. This is hard, man. It's like I know this stuff. I really do forget stuff so easily. I don't know.
It's all good, man.
My short-term memory. I had too much fun in my early 20s and stuff. I'm paying for it now.
Yeah, that's what I keep telling my wife.
Yeah. Well, okay. I'm gonna say Alan Ladd, Robert Mitchum, and there's somebody on that I know was a good one. I can't think. Okay, Glenn Ford. Glenn Ford did some really good ones.
Yeah, nice.
Like The Big Heat. He did. That's just a damn good movie.
Yeah, The Big Heat's a great movie. Okay, top 3 sex comedies.
Oh, sex comedies. Okay. Well, I guess Porky's, would that be considered a sex comedy?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Porky's for sure. I want to say maybe The Last American Virgin.
Yeah, that fits.
It's a comedy, and they're all wanting to get laid the whole time. So, gosh, I should know this. Well, is Bachelor Party? Bachelor Party is not a sex comedy, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Absolutely is.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll go with those.
Very good. Okay, here comes the tough one. Top 3 slasher films.
Slasher films. Okay. Well, I got to throw Jason in there. I mean, he's the epitome of slasher, I think. Friday the 13th. I'm going to say part 3, 4. So yeah, that's when I think I first saw the one with Corey Feldman in it.
Corey Feldman, that's final chapter, part 4.
4, okay. Okay, so I'm going to say part 4 with Jason. Friday 13th.
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger, the first one, Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, that was God. Wow. Yeah. That was, seeing that as a kid was like crazy. Slasher. What's that other movie? Is it not Maniac? Or is it Maniac?
Yeah, Maniac.
Okay, Maniac. I'm thinking.
Yeah, Maniac's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, I was trying to throw it. I was throwing a curveball there, maybe a little bit.
No, again, I was expecting Halloween, so good for you, man.
Oh, yeah. See, there's so many.
Well, again, because that would be the standard answer. Everybody would always go, Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Well, that's what I try not to do that. I try to, from the obvious, that's kind of obvious, but yeah.
No, that wasn't too painful. Okay.
Nah.
But this might be. Last game of this portion of the show is called Overrated, Underrated. I want you to come up with a movie that by and large everybody really likes, that you don't necessarily hate, but you think is overrated as hell. And then the flip side would be a movie that you really like that most people think is garbage.
Yeah. I don't know if garbage, but I don't know. One of the most overrated, I would have to say, and I'm believing this more and more as I get older. And it still comes up on lists and people still talk about it, is Forrest Gump. I mean, hey, I don't hate it per se. I mean, Tom Hanks gives a good performance, but I think by and large, it's overrated, I believe, because a lot of people make more of it than it's a great movie. I think it's just one of those movies that was really good at the time.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of dipped. And it's like,
yeah.
But let's say underrated, people hate. Underrated. And then underrated and then people hate it, or just underrated?
Well, movie that you really champion and most people are like, that movie sucks. I mean, the one that I always come up with in my own example is Jason X. I like Jason X. Everybody else thinks it's a piece of shit, but I think it's great, for what it is. So something along those lines. It doesn't have to be like, it could be whatever, but something that by and large, a lot of people don't like, but you do.
Okay. Let's see. What that movie? I'm on the tip of my tongue. Now, see, what I'm going to mention is it's not. People hate it because of the music, but not so much the movie. But a lot of people think, I guess, just say it's bad.
Better not say Dirty Dancing.
No, I would. Yeah, I could easily throw that in there. But what I'm thinking of is, hang on, I got it here. It's shoot. Like I want to get up and go. Let me get up and go look for a second. Hang on.
Okay,
as I go to my theater movie. Okay, sorry about that.
no problem.
Keoma. It's a 1976 spaghetti western starring Franco Nero. This is extreme. Maybe nobody's even seen this or anything, but
I never heard of it.
Western fans have seen it, but it has like a horrible soundtrack. But the movie is damn good, and I don't know. That's just what I'm gonna throw that one out there.
I never even heard of that one.
Yeah, Keoma. They got a nice Arrow Blu-ray edition if anybody wants to check it out. But
cool. Yeah, I just wrote that down.
Okay, yeah, and I think Carlos and Jeff would probably agree with me on that one. But I love that movie, but that soundtrack, that woman singing is just like jab a knife in your. I want to grab a Rambo's hunting knife and just.
Nice. All right, let's get back to some more comments here real quickly. Steven says, "Hi, Jim and Mike. I started going." Oh, thank you for being here first, Steven. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Jim and Mike. I started going to the cinema in '77. I was 5 years old. My first cinema experience was Star Wars because I remember getting Starlog magazine with C-3PO and R2-D2 on the cover. That's awesome, Steven. That is awesome. And if that was your first experience, that's a good one to have.
Yeah, I remember that magazine. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in the Starlog and Fangoria. I was huge in the Fangoria.
Oh, yeah, Fangoria. Yeah.
Let's see here. And Corey says, make sure to hit that like button. Thank you, Corey. That's appreciated.
Yeah.
Sydney says, my favorite Humphrey Bogart movies are The Maltese Falcon and Casablanca. Both of them are great.
Mm-hmm.
Ramon says, In a Lonely Place is my favorite Bogart. I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. The director, Nicholas Ray, he was one of those directors that I was talking about earlier that went against the grain and stuff. But yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, thanks for mentioning that one.
Yeah, thank you, Ramon.
Yeah.
Carlos says, I'm warming to Bogart a lot more these days, but James Cagney is my favorite from the 30s and 40s.
Mm-hmm.
I made it my top of the world. Yep.
Oh,
absolutely. Yeah, Cagney was great. And he could do it all.
Oh, yeah.
He could play the tough guy, and then he could sing and dance in the next movie. I mean.
Oh, yeah. And he did some Western movies even.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he could do it all.
Steven says 77, 78, 79 was busy for me at the cinema. Then when the 80s kicked in, that's when it went even crazy. Back then, cinema prices were way cheap, not like now. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. It was a place where you could take your whole family for a cheap night out. Nowadays, you got to take a second mortgage on your house to do that shit.
Yeah. It's like, yeah.
Ramon says White Heat. Absolutely.
Yeah, White Heat. Yeah, top of the world.
Yep. Sarah says, I've been up late past midnight to watch movies. I put certain movies in my letterbox. I'm editing it. Yeah, I'll do that too. I'll get ready to go to bed at night, and I'll be like, I'll watch 20 minutes of this movie. And the next thing you know, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm still watching TV.
Yeah.
Gareth is here. Thank you for being here, Gareth. Video Tasties. He does a lot of great work.
Yeah, check his channel out, guys. It's great.
Yeah, Gareth is awesome. Just going through here real quick. Barry says both are great, but First Blood because of Stallone. That must be the Southern Comfort thing. Yeah, I mean, I get it. And definitely, as Jeff says here, especially that ending breakdown is one of Sly's finest acting performances for sure. I think it is his best acting performance. That monologue at the end of First Blood that he gives, it's heartbreaking, and he is so good in that moment.
Yeah, I think people that might be. Sorry, Jim, I stepped on your toes, but I was going to say Rambo is really good, and maybe some people don't think about it as like a prestigious movie because it's an action movie or something. But it's got the like you said, it's got the good monologues.
Well, again, to me, First Blood is not an action film; it's a drama that has action in it.
True.
Okay, whereas starting with First Blood Part 2, okay, Rambo, whatever you want to call it, and then moving forward, that's when it became an action cartoon franchise. And I love those movies. Don't get me wrong. I love them all, okay?
Yeah.
But the original First Blood is the only one in the entire series that has even a little bit of credibility to it. You could believe 90% of what's going on in that movie, whereas Rambo, again, I love the character, but starting in Part 2, he's got 50 guys shooting at him. None of them can hit the broadside of a barn, but yet he never misses. It's like, come on now.
Yeah. It's one of those. Yeah.
But again, I love those movies. They're so much fun, Barry says Stallone always got seen as an action star who couldn't act, but he is great in First Blood and Nighthawks. Yeah, Nighthawks is another one that.
Oh yeah.
Rutger Hauer.
Yeah.
Rutger Hauer is so good.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Okay, now Ramon brought this up, okay, for the sex comedies thing. And the reason why I'm highlighting this, Lemon Popsicle, that is the original version of The Last American Virgin. And I have not seen that movie. And me and Texas talk about that a lot.
Oh,
like the two of us want to track that movie down.
Oh, so Lemon Popsicle.
The Lemon Popsicle. I don't know if that's, I just want to know how similar to Last American Virgin it is,
Yeah. Yeah, I've never seen it either, but I knew it was a remake of one of those. Yeah.
But Private School, hell yeah.
Oh yeah,
Betsy
man.
Russell on the horse.
Yeah. God, HBO was great back in the mid '80s, man. And all those movies.
Dan, here we go. You have the task to cast the 3 characters in the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly remake. Who do you cast? I pray that this would never happen, by the way.
I'm with you.
That movie better never get remade. I mean, never. Oh, God. I can't even think of who I would cast, to be honest. Because to me, that is those 3 guys, you know? I mean...
Yeah, I mean, we still got some action guys out there, but I think one of them would have to be, what's his name from the... He's a British actor. What's his name? He does a lot of... oh, God. See, why did I do this? I can't think. I know, I can picture him. I can't think of his name. What's his face? He's been in... gosh, what was he in? I think we lost Jim for a second. Gosh, what's his name? I can't think of his name. Shit. I think he was in. That's a hard one, by the way, Dan. That's a very bad one. I don't know what happened to Jim. I think he went somewhere. But anyways, I'm trying to think. What's that guy's name? Jesus, Lord Almighty. Tip of my tongue. Oh, Jason Statham. Statham. I think Jim. What happened? Anyways, if you guys are here, Jason Statham, I would probably say maybe Mel Gibson.
Sorry about that.
You okay, Jim?
I got booted off my own show.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that, everybody. Thank you for keeping it going for me, Mike.
I was trying to, but I thought of his name, Jason Statham.
Okay.
Maybe. Okay, and then maybe Mel Gibson.
Which part would they play though? Statham would play the Clint Eastwood part.
Yeah, but he would probably be that. They would probably put him in that role. Mel Gibson would probably be the Tuco part, maybe, or maybe, I don't know. Maybe he would be Lee Van Cleef's part. And then the third one, I would say, gosh, I'm trying to think of a current guy that they would put in there, because all the good ones are maybe Keanu Reeves as just a thing, maybe to be next to Jason Statham. I don't know, how would that work? I wouldn't mix with it.
Who knows?
I don't know. That's a hard one.
Like I said, this is such a hard one.
Yeah.
You know, you broke my computer with that question, Dan. I will go with just outside the box type shit, as usual. For Tuco, I'll go with Paul Giamatti. I don't know if he could play like a gunfighter, but he could play like that kind of scuzzy character.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like somebody that can do comedy a little bit. And stuff. But I was also thinking just action kind of.
For the Clint role, I'll go with that Glenn Powell guy. He seems to be kind of hot right now.
Glenn Powell.
But the only one that kind of popped into my head thinking that, you know, I think he might pull it off in a weird way. For the Lee Van Cleef role, I'll go with Josh Brolin.
Oh, yeah.
I could see him playing that part.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
So, great question, Dan. But like you, I pray to God that never happens either. I don't like remakes. I especially don't like remakes of masterpieces, and that movie is a masterpiece. So, he also says that Keoma is a must-watch. And Ramon also says Keoma is cool. Music is awful indeed. And Jeff says Keoma is great, but that soundtrack is god awful. Air rape.
Yeah. but the more you see it, it almost like sticks on you. Like the music's almost okay at times, but it's not okay.
Oh man, that's funny, Jeff. Steven says, I'm looking forward to seeing Young Guns 3. Should be good if they can get most of the original cast like Kiefer and Lou Diamond Phillips. I like the first one a lot, but I've never really liked that second Young Guns movie that much.
I think it was the John Bon Jovi connection.
Well, plus they turned it into a PG-13, whereas the first one
yeah.
was rated R, and I just, real quickly, Dan here says, heading to a concert, I'll get caught up later. Hey, great, Dan. If you're still here, who are you going to go see? But if not, I'll talk to you on Tuesday, my friend. And thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for showing up, Dan.
Steven says, the hardest one would you get replace Clint Eastwood other than his son? See, I was thinking about his son because he looks just like him, but his son's not a very good actor, at least not at this point.
I haven't seen anything. Yeah, I haven't seen anything with him that really, really impressed me. But he's a good actor, decent.
Oh, this is good. I like this. Dan says Ryan Gosling is the good, Pedro Pascal is the bad, and John Leguizamo is the ugly. That's actually really good casting. I didn't even think about Gosling.
Yeah. He popped in my head first, but then I just forgot about it. But Ryan Gosling, that's actually would work really good.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah,
I like it. Okay, we are going to switch gears a little bit here. Oh, wait a minute. No, I do have one more movie topic for you before I switch gears, but this is another little thing that I do every once in a while with my guests. For whatever reason, Mike, you find yourself on a desert island with electricity and a TV and a Blu-ray player, but you only have 3 movies to choose from. What are the 3 desert island movies you have to keep you from going insane?
Oh man, I would have to probably just today, the way I'm feeling, if I was cast away today on an island, I would have to say that Detour movie from Film Noir, because it's just great on repeat watch. Second would be, oh god, I'm gonna try to pick a Western, favorite Western. Probably one of the maybe Django. Maybe Django. Maybe one of the 3 good, bad,
The
Dollars trilogy. I don't know. Today I would go with Django, the original Django, 1966, or maybe even The Great Silence. And then the other one, probably like a comedy movie. Oh man, crap. Probably like a Marx Brothers movie or something just to keep me crazy. So probably Horse Feathers, which is a Marx Brothers movie, 1932. I love that movie. So probably those 3. I don't know.
Nice.
Okay.
And again, those are not picks that I have heard on here so far. So this is great. It's not the same standard shit. So I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to switch gears a little bit. Because we always talk about movies on our channel. Okay. Our channels, I should say. But one thing that me and you do have in common, since me and you have gotten to know each other a little bit better, is we're both music fans, obviously, and we have kind of similar tastes somewhat, which is, always refreshing. But again, you're a Kentucky guy. I'm a Midwestern, from the outskirts of Chicago. So who knows, But
yeah.
What types of music do you like the most? I mean, what's your wheelhouse? If you're listening to something, what are you putting on?
Well, overall, just depends on my day. A lot of times I'll get into a band. Let's say Rush. Rush is one of my favorite bands. So I'll have a period of time listening to Rush, like in the car or something. I might actually have some CDs and listen to them in the car. And I'll listen to them for a couple of weeks, just taking their albums and listening to different stuff. But probably Rush. Big fan of Rush. A band that gets 0 credit in the States is UFO.
Oh yeah,
Love UFO. Great. Michael Schenker. It's crazy. And I think they did some live stuff in Chicago and Louisville, actually.
Yes.
Thin Lizzy. Love Thin Lizzy. UFO, Rush, Thin Lizzy. Like a lot of rock, and then there might be weeks where I'll listen to rap. I really like the Wu-Tang Clan, and then they got all these solo albums, and sometimes I'll just listen to some good old classic rock maybe, and sometimes I'll listen to some old country music like the Johnny Cash, the Townes Van Zandt, which is one of my favorite country singers of all time that gets no credit. Kind of like outlaw country, like Waylon Jennings and stuff like that. And then sometimes I like jazz. I love Miles Davis. I love John Coltrane. I can listen even classical. Me and my wife have had moments where we own some more classical music on and listen to it for a hoot, just for a whim. But yeah, those are kind of basic stuff I do. It kind of rotates and stuff, and I'll listen to some newer music. If I'm with my wife, she likes totally different stuff, and I'll listen to what she's listening to because she's driving her car, her radio.
Right.
I give her that rule. So yeah, a lot of different stuff. I'm pretty open minded on music. I really don't like contemporary music. A lot of it, just a lot of it, not all of it, but a lot of it I don't like. But I guess I tend to go back to like putting on a UFO CD or a UFO album or Rush and Thin Lizzy. I've been into Thin Lizzy for a while lately because I got this big box set of theirs, and I want to show that one day if I can get around to it. So stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I mean, I'm a big Rush fan, that, but for the last week, I've been listening to nothing but Pantera.
Pantera,
I just
exactly.
Pantera mood, I mean,
yeah.
And then I'll go a week where I'll listen to like, old Aerosmith or Thin Lizzy or, I mean, I go through little phases. Shit, for a month I was listening to nothing but Deep Purple and Rainbow because I love Richie Blackmore, So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I got on that one time. I was listening to the Dio Rainbow, and then I went into the Dio Black Sabbath and a little bit of Dio's first solo albums. I was just like rotating through those. And I think Mob Rules is my favorite Dio Sabbath album.
Yeah. Well, you like that more than Heaven and Hell?
Well, they're both good, but I don't know. It seems like I tend to go to. I know the first one's the best one because it's got Bill Ward on drums, and then you got Vinny Appice on drums, and and then what else did I recently do? Yeah, like you said, Pantera. I was listening to that the other day. I was listening to some Dokken. I put in Beasts from the East, their live album from the 80s, and dig into it. So it varies for me too. Yeah.
Nice. What was your first concert?
Oh, first concert, geez. 1989. Cinderella was the headliner.
Nice.
With Winger and the Bullet Boys opening.
Oh shit. The Bullet Boys.
The Bullet Boys. Yeah, they came on stage pretty good. I mean, I had to go with my aunt and her boyfriend, soon to be husband, eventually. And she fell asleep. We had crappy seats because she wanted to sit way up in the bleachers somewhere. It was it was what do you call it? You could just go anywhere you wanted to. And we watched it. But yeah, that was my first concert. I mean, I remember Tom Kiefer coming down from the upwards on a piano, playing the piano to Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone.
Yeah.
Big song at that time. So
yeah.
It wasn't spectacular, but it was my first concert. So.
Yeah, I took my ex to see Bon Jovi. What year would that have been? That would have been like 87, I think. 87 or 88, but Cinderella opened for them. They were doing the Night Songs tour or whatever. And quite honestly, Cinderella blew Bon Jovi off the fucking stage, man. I mean, they were actually a lot better live than I thought they would be. I got a lot of respect for Cinderella,
Yeah, it's a shame they get kind of pigeonholed in that, hair bands.
The hair band.
Glam bands from the 80s, but really they had some chops. Tom Kiefer could really write some good songs, and they did have that blues tinge and stuff
That's what drew me to them, was that they had more of a bluesy rock going, and I always loved bluesy type rock. I mean, Zeppelin was the first band that really got me as a kid, other than like Kiss. So it's like, you know, all kids my age at that time were into Kiss, you know. But, but when I first started getting into music, it was Zeppelin and that bluesy rock, especially the first couple of Zeppelin albums, you know. First album especially, you know. But okay, real quick, because I noticed a couple other people came into the chat, and I want to make sure that I say hello to them. But I do have to say this from Dan first. Rush reminds me of Paul Rudd and I Love You, Man. Slapping the bass, slapping the bass.
Slapping the bass, slapping the bass.
Chet Baker, Mike?
Chet Baker. Good.
Yeah, he says he loves Miles Davis and Chet Baker, so I'm assuming that's a jazz musician.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's a guitarist, maybe. I don't know.
I think Mike is a Peter Andre fan, like Jim. I don't know who Peter Andre is.
Peter Andre.
You'll have to educate me, Barry. I don't know. Oh, hey, Sean's here. Sean from Movie Assault, one of my partners in crime. Thank you for being here, my friend. Best Thin Lizzy guitarist.
Oh, shit. I don't know. I'd have to go with Robbo, Brian Robertson overall. But, I mean, I really liked I was just listening to him today. He was doing his version of something. What's his name? He was on Black Road. Gary Moore. Yeah.
Gary Moore. Yeah.
Yeah. But
that's what I was thinking was Gary Moore.
Scott Gorham had a good. He has. I think he's kind of underrated in a way.
Yeah.
When you think about that.
Yeah. Thin Lizzy was great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Steven, I like listening to America, Kansas, Grand Funk Railroad, The Guess Who, Boston, Journey, Toto, Chicago, Dewey Brothers, Candy. I like all those bands. There's not a single band in that list I don't like.
Yeah.
I like certain eras of those bands better than others, you know, but, you know, like Chicago is a perfect example. When Terry Kath was the driving force behind Chicago, they were one of the best bands ever. It's when Peter Cetera took over, that's when they went south, in my opinion, you know.
Yeah. And that's where I first heard them in the 80s, was with Peter Cetera and stuff. But
yeah, no, my brother, when I was like maybe, you know, my late brother Greg, when I was maybe 7 years old, put a pair of headphones on and said, listen to this. And it was 25 or 6 to 4. And I was immediately just like, oh my God, this is amazing. You know?
Yeah. I think there's a good documentary about Terry.
Yeah, he was a great guitarist. I mean, just a phenomenal guitarist.
Yeah. I think there's a documentary about him that was really good. So
Barry says, Wu-Tang fan. That's the sort of music I like. Mike?
I like Wu-Tang. I don't know. I'm crazy. I just like all, and you know, and the Wu-Tang has they blend kind of like you know, kung fu references and stuff, which it's kind of cool.
I listen to a lot of hip hop, funk, R&B, soul, jazz, and house. I've got an appreciation for all types of music, even if I'm not like necessarily a fan of certain. I mean, I'm not a hip hop guy, okay, but there are certain hip hop artists that I do like, and there are certain. I have a lot of respect for. Again, I'm not a country guy, okay, but again, I have nothing but respect for a lot of those artists, you know, because again, they're incredible. It's just not my type of music, you know. A lot of people don't like Rush. You know, they hear Geddy Lee's voice and it's like, oh my God, I can't listen to that. You know? I get it. You know, it's you like what you like.
That's me. I'm just open minded to a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I'll listen to anything once and see if I like it. You know. Dan says one of my favorite bands is Dire Straits. Are you guys? Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, I got a good story about that, Jim.
What's that?
Dire Straits. I took what's the blue album with Money for Nothing on? What is it? Brothers in Arms. Brothers in Arms. Okay. I loved that album back then. So I guess I was still in elementary school. It must have been 5th grade. And we had Fridays were music day. So kids could bring in some music that they wanted to, and they would play a song for everybody. So I brought Dire Straits and played Money for Nothing, which was pretty kind of popular at the time. But they said a certain few words in it.
Yep. The little faggot in the ring and the ring.
Exactly. And immediately it was ejected and given back to me. And I was like, But it kind of got some of the people in the class was like, wow, that's kind of cool, man. He played some, like, so it was a good little moment. So we played about half that song before it got ejected. So
same thing happened to me in 5th grade. I brought Toys in the Attic from Aerosmith, and it was all good until Big 10-inch record came on.
Yeah, but you have to really think about that one. It's not overtly, like,
yeah, but still, it was enough to make all the kids go.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dire Straits. I never saw Dire Straits live, unfortunately, but I did see Mark Knopfler once. He was on the bill with Eric Clapton, and Phil Collins was on the drums the night that Stevie Ray Vaughan died.
Oh,
because Stevie Ray Vaughan opened that show. That
that
was the 25th anniversary tour for Clapton.
Yeah, that's somebody I need to mention is Stevie Ray Vaughan. I'm a huge fan of him. I got a lot of stuff. But yeah, that's good. Dire Straits. I mean, Mark Knopfler is a
phenomenal guitarist.
Totally underrated. He's got this like hand picking style. It's almost like a country picking style with this,
Yeah, no, he's phenomenal, and like I said, I always wanted to see Dire Straits themselves because they actually did do Money for Nothing that night on there, but because they kind of threw him a bone or whatever. But Phil Collins trying to do the Sting intro just didn't sound right.
Yeah, that is a good album. I mean, there's other good songs on there. I probably wouldn't listen to Money for Nothing much now, but like Brothers in Arms, the song is good, and I like some of their earlier stuff too. It's pretty cool.
I enjoy their earlier stuff. Let's see here. And Ramon says, high fidelity. I agreed that what really matters is what you like, not what you like. Books, records, films, these things matter. Call me shallow, but it's the fucking truth. Yeah, absolutely. Real quick, I just want to make sure I didn't meet. Okay, here we go. Steven says, Eddie Van Halen, Joe Satriani, Steve Vai, Yngwie Malmsteen, Eric Clapton, Gary Moore. Those are my favorite guitar players. I've seen every one of them live. Every one of them. Damn. I passed out at a Joe Satriani concert.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was in a little like standing room only type place, maybe 500 people capacity or whatever. And it was in the middle of winter and I was wearing a jacket, and instead of taking it off, I just kept on wearing it, and I overheated, and literally just remember my two buddies standing above me going, hey man, you okay? And I mean, I was sober. It just overheated and passed out. And
that's happened to me too at a concert. Yeah, but fortunately I got to see Eddie Van Halen one time, but it wasn't at his peak time. I saw him in like 2004. When they went out on the road with Sammy Hagar, and that was where he was in the shorts and the shirtless and a ponytail and stuff.
Yeah,
he was really like just not in good shape at that point. But I'm glad I got to see him at least once. So. But other than that, I haven't seen any of those guys. I wish I would have seen anybody, but I did get to see Eddie.
Yeah, Gary Moore opened for Rush once. Yeah, and I saw Clapton. Yngwie Malmsteen opened for Dio once when I saw that. Satriani, I just talked about, and Eddie Van Halen. Saw Van Halen a couple of times, but the second concert I ever saw in my life, the first one was Rush Signals, and the second one was 1984 Van Halen, the last tour with David Lee Roth. And what a great 1-2 punch! Go from Rush to Van Halen. And so, I mean, arguably in my eyes anyways, I saw the greatest drummer in my first concert, and I saw my greatest guitarist in the second, at that point in my life. I was just like, Yeah,
man. I would love to see Van Halen, like say 1980 or 81. I would love to see that kind of time period.
Yeah. Barry says, love the 80s rock hair bands. Miles Away by Winger is one of my favorites. I just remember 17 and Waiting on a Heartbreak or something like that from Winger. The MTV songs. I've never bought a Winger album in my life.
Yeah.
I do remember that guy was a pretty damn good guitarist, and he didn't get much credit for it. you know,
yeah. What's his
because he was a
name?
pretty boy, you know, singer. But
yeah.
he
I
definitely.
think he's playing with Don Dawkins now. I believe, or it had. Played with him.
Don Dockett's voice is not what it was, man. That's for sure.
No,
Because I saw Dokken a couple of times too.
Yeah.
That lyric was a reference to Gary Newman. Okay, I must have missed the lyric. And we've got Barry saying, "Old school hip hop is great, not the crap." Now, I don't really listen to modern music that much. You know, I like my movies. I tend to watch older movies. I tend to listen to older music.
I mean, I guess I'm that cliche. I guess I'm an old man now.
Yeah.
I'm 49, so it's like, oh, you don't like nothing new. You just like the old stuff. But I just like good stuff. You know, I like good stuff. You know, if you read a good book, you want to reread it. You know,
right.
If it's 20 years old, you still want to read it. You know, it's like with this. But there is new stuff I like, but I don't go nuts about it. But yeah, I'm like you.
Oh,
yeah,
Reb Beach was the winger guitarist. Okay, I stand corrected.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, Sean's the other guy I go to for my music knowledge. He's pretty good. He's pretty. I can't wait to get him on here in a couple of weeks. We're going to be talking a lot of music. Steven says I also listen to Jean-Marc Jarre, Yellow Magic Orchestra, Kraftwerk, Gary Newman, and Yazoo. I've heard of Kraftwerk and I've heard of Gary Newman. Those are the only two that I know anything from. And Gary Newman, outside of Cars, I don't think I know anything.
Yeah, but Kraftwerk's pretty cool.
Kraftwerk had some great. The Machine was a great album. I used to listen to that one a lot when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. Barry says, "I would have thought you passed out from all the weed." No, I've never passed out from weed. I've passed out from alcohol, but I've never passed out from weed.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Yeah.
Oh, the Dire Straits lyric. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see here. Dan says, I've said it before, I'll say it again, and I'm sure many will agree. Jim's Shooting the Shit live streams are top quality. Mike, another great guest. You had a right dickhead, though, on episode 5. Who was episode 5? I don't remember. But thank you so much, Dan. I appreciate that. I really do. And, you know, I try my best to make these as entertaining as possible. So, okay, we talked about your first concert. Let's talk about your bucket list concert, the band that you wanted to see more than any, and you never got a chance to.
Never got a chance to. I would say off the top of my head, the Ramones. Just off the top of my head, they played Louisville in 1995. I want to say, which was weird because I don't think they had ever come around it. You know, we don't get a lot of concerts. The prime we do, but we don't. I wish I would have saw the Ramones. I wish I would have got to see Pantera with, you know, the brothers.
With Dimebag and Vinny. Yeah.
Yeah. And
yeah. Dan was on episode 5. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt. I saw what you did there, Dan. Thank you. That's good. Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to break into that. I saw that fine. And I had to bring that up. That was great.
I don't know, just off the top of my head, I would say, you know, the Ramones. I wish I would have gotten to see Pantera with the whole group when they came. I wanted to see GNR back in 1987 when they were opening for Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
Because Alice Cooper came to Louisville and I think it was 87. It was right before they just exploded.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wanted to go. No offense to Alice Cooper, I love him, but I wanted to see GNR at that point because they were at their hardest and grimiest and their best.
Yep.
You know, they were raw and ready, and you know, and I wish I would have seen them then, but I was too young. That's why I went. That's why I had to have my aunt take me to that one show. It's like my parents just wouldn't take me up there. So
yeah. I saw Guns N' Roses right before they broke. Because Welcome to the Jungle was just starting to hit MTV. They opened for Aerosmith. And I didn't know who they were, but they were fantastic. And I remember just looking at Slash the whole time, going, who the hell is that guy with the hat? You know, but he was just on fire. And it was like, yeah. And then I never saw him after that. But Sean was telling a story on one of these things that he he saw them when they were basically like a club band. Okay, they saw some guy in the front row who had a GNR tattoo on his arm, and Axl got all excited and said, "Check it out," and this and that. When, like you said, they were young and raw. And then he says he saw him a couple of years later when they were headlining for the Use Your Illusion thing.
Oh yeah,
and it was a completely different band. He says at that point they were making their audience wait for 2 hours and doing this and doing that, and he's like, you could just tell it was not the same band anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. There's a good live stream floating around if you catch it, which their former manager has written a book. Has written a book that's coming out soon.
Yeah, I was reading excerpts from that.
Yeah, and it's like, if they would have just kept their crap together, what would they have done in the 90s and stuff? They could have, how many albums could they have made and stuff? And they just disappeared. And Chinese democracy, I don't even think of that as anything.
I listened to that CD once and never bought it. I mean, a friend of mine had it and I borrowed it and I listened to it once and I've never listened to it again.
Yeah, I just have no inkling I want to listen to, which is, that's kind of bad. That's horrible, but I just.
Yeah. Let's see here. Barry says, I don't listen to modern music as well, Jim. The old stuff is the best. Yeah, and again, I'm not saying that the newer music is bad. It's just, it's not my type of thing, and there's a local radio station not too far from here that, it's like the only rock station nowadays. But they'll play, 10 different songs or whatever, and every one of them sounds the same to me. Even though the bands are different, it's just the same style of music, and it's like there's no variety to what I hear. So I've never been into pop, I've never been in country or any of that stuff. I'm a rock guy. So let's see here. Ramon says, you saw Rock and Roll High School, Mike?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. There's a cool, I think a 4K of it just came out.
Yeah, there is.
I might get that.
Yeah, I got the 40th anniversary steelbook for that movie, Blu-ray. But I love that movie. I saw that at the drive-in.
Yeah, I still got the old DVD of it, but yeah, it's good. That's a good, funny movie. It's not great, but it's
entertaining as hell.
Yeah,
man.
It's entertaining though. Yeah.
Barry, I would have loved to have seen Guns N' Roses in their prime. Yeah, like I said, when I saw them with Aerosmith, they opened, so they only had, they were on stage for maybe a half hour, so it wasn't like a full gig, but they were pretty fucking great. They really were.
I imagine, yeah.
Steven says, I've seen Iron Maiden a few times and Saxon, Black Sabbath also. Queen is the one that I really would have loved to see.
Yeah, Jim, yeah, Queen. I would have loved to see Queen back.
With Freddie Mercury, of course.
With Freddie Mercury, not even Paul Rogers, though. I mean, he's a great singer, but not with Queen. And then you got Adam Lambert, which is just like,
Yeah. See, Paul Rogers, I saw him when Bad Company reformed, like in the early 2000s, and they did a tour. And I went and saw that. I won tickets on the radio for that, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
David Lee Roth opened for him.
Oh, cool.
And David Lee Roth was unbelievably bad. And Bad Company was unbelievably great. I mean, because it was the four actual guys. And oh my God, that was one of the best concerts I've ever seen. I mean, and I wasn't even a big Bad Company fan at that point. I went, again, I won the tickets, but I wanted to see David Lee Roth.
Yeah.
And Paul Rogers, great voice.
Yeah, I was going to say, I got to see Iron Maiden a couple times, which was good. But yeah, man, I would have loved to see, like growing up, like on the radio, car radio. I'm glad my dad had it on like rock. Like I guess it was even classic rock then because they played Bad Company and stuff like that. So yeah, I kind of grew up on that. So in Boston, love Boston, man. Like, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the youngest of five, so the music kind of trickled down to me, and my late brother Greg, he was into, like, again, this was like the 70s, so he was into like early Chicago, early Grand Funk, early Peter Frampton Comes Alive, Aerosmith, the first couple of Aerosmith albums, and he basically shoved those down my throat, when I was like 6, 7, 8 years old.
Yeah.
And it just, from that moment on, then I started to play drums a couple of years later, and it's like, yeah, I'm a rock guy. I've always been a rock guy.
Yeah, I think 1985 was a like pivotal year for me with music. I mean, I did like Madonna's "Like a Virgin" album. Loved that. You know, kids in the neighborhood, the girls liked it. I walk around with my jam box and listen to music. You know, it attracted girls, man. Hey, I didn't know what I was doing. But then, but that was a good year because I got into metal. I mean, my first metal people were Rat. I still love Rat. Dawkins. Ozzy Osbourne with the Ultimate Sin album, Motley Crue. Back then, when I was young, I wanted to look like Nikki Sixx when I grew up with a full sleeve tattoo, which was like a lot of people didn't have that back then. But yeah, like Motley Crue, Smoking in the Boys' Room, stuff like that.
Yeah,
kind of got me into more stuff and everything. So
yeah, 85 is the year I graduated from high school, so
wow.
that was a big year for me too, man.
yeah, I graduated 5th grade that year.
Oh, geez, you're making me feel old, man.
You're only like 7 years older, maybe.
Yeah, I'll be 58 this year.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, Steven says, here's a question for you. Who is the best singer, Ozzy Osbourne or Ronnie James Dio?
Oh.
Ronnie James Dio is the better singer. Singer. Ozzy is the more unique singer because there's no voice like Ozzy's. You hear Ozzy's voice and you know immediately it's Ozzy,
or Dio
for that matter. Yeah. But Ozzy's got that very distinct. There's, like I said, there's never been anybody like Ozzy as far as what he does. But to me, Dio is a better singer, without a doubt.
Yeah, I think Ozzy was a better frontman too.
Yeah,
he could really get into the audience, and I mean Dio did too, but Dio was more like, he would.
He was a little man, but he commanded.
Oh yeah,
I saw Dio live, and I mean, like I said, you see him on stage, and you realize how short that guy really was, But 30 seconds into the set, you forgot about that shit, and suddenly he's a rock god. I mean, it was pretty impressive.
Yeah. I'm glad I got to see actually one of those Iron Maiden shows. It was kind of one of those settings where you got some lawn, you got back ways the lawn. I guess it's semi-outdoor show. But the show was Motorhead opened, which was the second time I got to see Motorhead.
Yeah, I never got a chance to see Motorhead.
Oh God, I got a good story about Motorhead, but I seen him second time opening, and then it was Dio, and then Iron Maiden. So that was I didn't have a good look at Dio because I was so far back. But it sounded good, but yeah, at least I got to say I got to see him once.
Cool.
But Motorhead, I saw them in a little club called the Toy Tiger in Louisville, and it's a very small club. And this was like 1990, I want to say 96, maybe 96 or something like that. And they were so damn loud, man. They were so freaking loud. It was just rattling glasses and shit was falling, and I was just right there, and it was just so damn loud. One of my best concerts. Yeah. Also got to see Wasp during that time period in the same club. Blackie Lawless was on this microphone contraption moving back and forth. And it was crazy.
Yeah, Sean's a big Wasp fan. I know that.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Ramon says my favorite band is The Doors. Haven't seen them live, of course. Yeah, I would have loved to see The Doors back in the day with Jim Morrison.
Oh yeah, love it.
Dan says all this talk about rock and metal music, I might have to dig out This Is Spinal Tap and turn it up to 11.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
I love Spinal Tap. It is so good. And Sean says, I saw Bad Company once, but it wasn't with Paul Rogers, sadly. They were opening for Damn Yankees. Yeah. That must have been when what was that guy's name? The other singer for Bad Company.
Yeah. I can't think of it, but I know.
Because Fame and Fortune was the name of one of the albums, because I actually saw them too with that guy.
Yeah, I think he started. Wasn't the album cover like a little girl lighting a cigarette or something?
I don't remember.
He had like a hat on, overalls, or something like that. But I think it was like '87 when that guy came. I can't think of his name.
Yeah. And let's see here. Steven says Axl Rose is looking more like Benny Hill these days.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him.
And Gray 1951 is here. Thank you for being here. I
Hey,
could just
Mike.
see Mike. I could just see Mike walking around singing like a virgin.
Oh, I wasn't singing, man. I was just I had the hand on the controls and stuff. I was like,
Hey, man, I became a Duran fan to get laid once, so it's all good.
oh, I was little. I mean, I think that was like got my first girlfriend around that time. It's like officially we haven't broke up, so I guess we're still dating after all these years.
Rose is definitely Benny these days. Yep, no doubt. Madonna's looking well these days as well. Yeah.
I'm like, she's a train wreck.
Motorhead has done the best WWE intro music, the game Triple H. I don't watch wrestling, so I have no idea.
Yeah, I remember that. They were real popular with that song. Those songs, yeah.
And let's see here. Steven says, did any of you like the glam metal phase? Yeah. I mean, some of those bands. I mean, like the Sweet was a great band, and they were definitely glam.
Oh, yeah.
New York Dolls were a glam band. I like that stuff.
Yeah.
Now, if you're talking glam metal as far as like the Darkness and stuff like that, the newer type stuff. Again, I'm not. I won't go so far as to say I don't like it. It's just I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah. I think if you want to put it in a box and say glam, I guess that's a certain time period. Now somebody can come out now and be glam. I don't think it's the same connection, but
yeah, I think 70s with glam.
70s was a big influence on like people like I love the New York Dolls and stuff.
Yeah.
And like people like Aerosmith and different bands. Motley Crue was the biggest kind of rip off of some of those guys. But yeah, I think 85, 86 to about 1990 was kind of the glam period, I would say. Yeah. And that's kind of like when I got into, harder music, and stuff. Kiss was one of those first bands also got into like Asylum album. It's a time period that around that time.
And Sean real quickly says from the singer from Bad Company, Brian Howe. Yeah, I remember his name was Brian.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Thank you, Sean. I knew Sean would know. He's my go-to guy. Kenny's my go-to guy when it comes to like sitcoms, and Sean's my go-to guy when it comes to music.
Yeah. I was talking about Badlands one day, and Sean knew about it. And I was like, "Oh man, cool!" Because Badlands is one of my favorite bands that should have just blew up, but they did. Yeah. Jake E. Lee and Ray Gillan.
Great show, guys. Great stories. Thank you, Dan. Thank you so much, my friend. I really appreciate you and Jeff and Carlos. Okay, real quick, because we are coming up to the 2-hour mark, but we're not done yet. We're going to play another round of top three.
Okay.
And this one's going to be a little more cut and dried. And again, not the greatest, just off the top of your head, three that come to your top of your head. Okay, who do you want? So, but your answer better be one of these, or I'm going to be upset with you. So, top three drummers.
Oh, okay, yeah. Top three. That varies sometimes, but Neil Peart has got to be on there.
Okay, you're all good then.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I was going to say that anyways, but yeah, I figured that's who he was. But best drummers, like I really like. What's his name? Brian Downey on drums from Thin Lizzy.
Oh,
I mean, he's got such a swing. He's
got a pocket that he gets into.
Yeah, he's kind of a swing drummer.
Listen to Bad Reputation. That the drums on Bad Reputation is insane.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah. Oh God, best drummers. There's so many good drummers. A drummer that I've always liked was drummer for Anthrax, Charlie Bronson. I've always liked him. Yeah, he's
a great drummer.
I was never a drummer, but I always liked his kits. He had Tama kits and stuff, and just the way he had it set up and different stuff like that back then. Not so much musical, maybe with him, maybe more style, flair, stuff like that. Neil Peart and Peart. Brian Downey. Maybe that is my three.
Yeah.
I don't know. It varies. It varies.
Yeah, but all three of those guys are phenomenal. all three of them. And you know how I feel about Neil. So.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, this might be a little more difficult though. Top 3 lead guitarists.
Oh, lead guitarist. And oh gosh, I'm gonna say Jakey Lee. Overall, but his Badlands period, I think it was just a mixture of just crank it up to 10. It was bluesy, it was rocking, it was just everything. It's very soft. He's got some acoustic stuff, and he's got, he can play. Lead guitarist. Oh, man. So many good ones. Like I like Warren. I loved Warren D. Martini and Rat back in the day. And then gosh, I'm just thinking of some stuff like Michael Schenker with MSG, but also with just the UFO years.
UFO, yeah.
I really like some of the MSG years,
Yeah.
Stuff, so.
Saw them live too.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Never saw a UFO though.
Yeah.
Although I love the story in the Rush documentary about UFO, when they said that when they were wearing their robes, that one time the guy hammered or nailed a pair of slippers in front of Getty's microphone.
Yeah, yeah.
Here's your slippers to go with your robes.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of Geddy Lee, top 3 bassists.
Okay, bassists. I mean, I would say Geddy Lee, but I wouldn't say Geddy Lee per se. Like definitive number, top 3. He's definitely one of them. About here, gosh, there's so many different good basses. We should Geddy Lee. I don't know. I'm having a brain fart on that one. I know there's some really good ones I like. I can't think of their.
Yeah, we could skip that one if you want.
Yeah, let's skip it or come back to it.
All right. Top 3 singers.
Top 3 singers of all time. Probably David Lee Roth with up to like 84. Or actually, he was pretty good solo for a while.
Eat 'Em and Smile's a good album.
Yeah, Eat 'Em and Smile, and Little Ain't Enough or whatever is pretty decent. Just overall, like, can sing. He's got the stage presence. He's got the all that. So probably Phil Lynott, as far as bass players go, but he just had that swagger, David Lee Roth. But I don't know what he's doing nowadays. But back then, Robert Plant, Led Zeppelin, and just definitive singers,
Yeah.
Crap, who's another good? Well, Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, I was waiting for Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, I mean, he just, a lot of people know Freddie Mercury nowadays because of the movie and different stuff. But if you really listen to him, I mean, he is a damn good singer with so many different ranges.
Yeah, he had one of the greatest voices ever, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Without a doubt. Even if you're not a fan of Queen, that guy could sing,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he could sing his ass off for sure. Yeah.
Very good. Okay, real quick, get back into the thing here. Sean says, Warren D. Martini is back on the road with Stephen Piercy doing Rat stuff right now. Cool.
Yeah, I saw that. And Stephen Piercy's coming to Louisville, but I was wondering, like, is Warren going to be with him? Because if he is, I might go to that show, So.
Yeah, I saw a Rat on the Out of the Cellar tour when they opened for Billy Squier. And again, they blew Billy Squier off the fucking stage. Greg's 3 favorite guitarists are David Gilmour, Angus Young, and George Lynch. Yeah, all 3 of them. Phenomenal.
Yeah, I love George Lynch, too. I don't know why I didn't think about him.
Yeah, and David Gilmour, I mean, I love Pink Floyd. And, yeah, he's incredible.
Yeah, kind of underrated.
Yeah. And Stephen Moll says, I've been on a Bob Dylan journey at the moment. And Tom Petty. Tom Petty, I absolutely loved. Bob Dylan, I think, is one of the best songwriters of his generation. His voice has always driven me crazy. He's one of those guys that I have a utmost respect for,
Yeah, Yeah.
but I don't own a single album. You know,
actually can say I saw Bob Dylan once, and I kind of went for the openers, but I like Bob Dylan, but the openers were Wilco, which is, I think they're a big Chicago band, and My Morning Jacket, which is one of my favorite newer bands. And,
nice.
Yeah.
Okay. We asked earlier about the desert islands. Hey, you're back on that desert island.
Oh, no.
And now you don't have a Blu-ray player, but you do have a working stereo system, and you have 3 CDs to keep you occupied. What are those 3 albums?
Oh, Led Zeppelin. What's their 5th album?
Which one?
The 5th album.
That would be Houses of the Holy.
Houses of the Holy, yeah. Houses of the Holy for sure. UFO, the live album. Which was called? The 78 live album. Definitely gotta have that. Third one would be just overall something I listen to all the time when I listen to like Rush. I would say with Rush, I guess I would cheat and grab one of their greatest hits albums just to have, just so I can listen to La Villa Strangiato, whatever, and something else.
So you want like the Chronicles album then?
Yeah, like Chronicles or Chronicles. I'll go with that.
Yeah, that'll work. Very good. Okay, make sure I didn't miss anything here. Steven says Diamond Head is a good group. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Metallica really got those guys out in the orbit, to know who they are when they did that Garage Days album. Which is a damn good album. EP.
Well, everybody, we are coming up on the 2-hour moment, or hour, whatever you want to call it, coming up here. We're almost at the end of the show, okay?
Oh, wow. Yeah,
it's gone by pretty quickly. We're at just about 2 hours. Before we end, we're not done yet. I want to give Mike a chance here to plug his channel and any other exploits he might have coming up down the pipe or anything on social media. The floor is yours, sir. So please, by all means.
Okay. Just check my channel out. I usually put out new videos on Monday mornings, usually. I'm wanting to get into doing some live streams of my own, just some random stuff. I was going to do one, but we had bad weather a couple weeks ago, and it was before the surgery. So I might try to do that again. Just kind of dip my toes into doing something different. And I'm just working on editing some videos and stuff, and put some stuff out there. If people want to let me know, hey, we want to see more of this, more of that, that'd be cool. I do have a bunch of Westerns in the can, so to speak, that I want to release soon. So, just check out my channel, and got a lot of cool stuff on there. Just go backwards and watch some stuff if awesome. Want to. So, that's about it for right now. Yeah.
Awesome. If you haven't already done so, everybody, please subscribe to Mike's channel at Mike's DVD and Blu-rays Collection is the name of the channel, and you can reach Mike at Old Movie Mike, I believe.
Yep, I think so. Yeah,
at Old Movie Mike. That is his handle there on YouTube. He's also on Instagram as well as Mad Dog Mike.
But that's me. There's a story about that.
About Mad Dog.
Mad Dog, yeah.
What's that?
Well, it was 1994. The parents weren't home at a friend's house. It was like a movie almost. We had a bunch of people in the living room, and some people went to the liquor store and got some liquor. We weren't old enough. We were 18. Right. Somebody got me some Mad Dog 2020. Drink. I sit there in this chair drinking this, and before I knew it, I had drank the whole bottle. I don't know how this happened. And it was funny because at just one point I turned to the side of the recliner chair I was in and just puked. And everybody was scrambling to clean it up because the mom had just come home. She was walking through the door. And my friends had to drive me home. I was in the back seat. They were driving. My brakes weren't great at the time on my first car. So
man,
that was a crazy adventure. So That's where Mad Dog came from.
There ain't no vomit like Mad Dog vomit.
Yeah, never again.
Nope. Yeah, I had a bad experience with that shit too when I was around that age, and it was the aqua velva blue color, and wine should not be blue.
No, this was some kind of orange looking stuff. I don't even know what it was. I guess it's all the sugar and the sweetness of it.
Yeah, oh god, that shit it's horrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could totally see why you'd never do that shit again.
No, never.
But anyways, like I said, guys, if you haven't already done so, please, by all means, get over to Mike's channel and subscribe. He's a great guy, as you can tell, for the last 2 hours. Always has great content. As a matter of fact, we got people in the audience that agree. Sean says Mike is good people. And
Thanks,
Dan
Sean.
says, I second that. Mike's a very insightful channel and a wide variety of movies he covers. Absolutely. Okay.
Thanks.
Can't say enough great stuff about Mike's channel. Before we wrap things up, though, because, again, I am a whore, I'm going to plug some stuff here real quick. Again, this coming Tuesday, which is April 22nd at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, will be the next live episode of Talking Movies with Sean, Kenny, and Jim. Our special guest will be Mr. Dan from Mr. Dan and Horror. We're going to be talking about Jack Nicholson. His birthday is coming up next week, and we just want to give a little bit of homage to one of the best actors who has ever appeared on screen, without a doubt.
Yeah.
So that show you can catch live on either Sean's channel at Movie Assault or at the Talking Movies 2024 channel. And you can also catch those on replay as well on those two channels. 2 weeks from today, on May, we're coming up to May already, but May 3rd at 1 p.m. Central Time, same bat channel, right here on Jim's Movie Channel, will be episode 9 of Shooting the Shit with Jim. And we're going back to the UK again. My very special guest will be Roy from Bluray Movies.
Oh, yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah.
Roy's a great guy. He's a really nice guy. And we're going to have a lot of fun. Haven't actually met Roy yet. Haven't talked to him other than in comments. But he's one of those guys that just makes me laugh constantly with his little comments on my channel and on his own videos. So that'll be in 2 weeks. And I'm really looking forward to that. So hopefully all of you can come back at that point and join us on that. One more time, I just want to thank everybody for being here today, especially you, Mike. Hopefully I can get you to come back at a later date. And I know for a fact we're definitely going to have you on another episode of Talking Movies with Sean and Kenny real soon. Yeah. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, my friend. And I can't thank you enough for being here today.
Yeah, no problem, man. Anytime.
So we're going to wrap up everything here in the chat. Barry here. Good chat, lads. Take care. Thank you so much, as always, Barry, for being here. I really appreciate you. Same thing with you, Greg. Take care. Thank you so much for all of your support. Jeff, again, I'm going to be reaching out to you real soon. We're going to schedule you on here when we can get you a day off of your work. And same thing. If you guys haven't subscribed to Jeff's channel, please do so. He's an awesome guy, all the way from the Netherlands. Sean is saying, "Heal up, Mike." Sean, thank you so much for being here, buddy. I will talk to you on Tuesday night. That's going to be a great show with Dan. Take care, guys. Take care, Jeff. Have a great weekend, my friend. Texas, again, thank you so much for all of your support and friendship, my friend. Happy belated birthday. Texas' birthday was last week.
Oh, happy birthday. Fellow April guy. Mine was the 13th. So.
Yeah. So, and I think his partner in crime, Sean, is his birthday is today. So, Sean, if you happen to catch this on replay, Cinephile World Order, happy birthday to you as well, my friend.
Yeah, he does by the way, he does some great live streams too, Sean.
Yeah. I love the live streams with those guys. I'm constantly in the chat fucking with them in those live streams.
Yeah, he's got some great ones.
But anyways, for the last time, I want to thank Mike. I want to thank all of you. Want to wish everybody if you celebrate Easter, a happy Easter tomorrow. A happy 420 if you celebrate that, or if you celebrate both, have a happy 420 Easter. But either way, I hope everybody's having a great weekend, and we'll be catching you guys on the next one. Take care, everybody.
Yep, take care, guys. Thanks
again.
Thanks for all the good comments. Yeah. Oh, no problem, Jim.